Hi guys, and welcome to this live stream. This will be a rather short one. I just wanted to continue the work on this a bit. So let's continue to work on our Fachwerk material. In the last one we introduced this edge damage, and we have two parameters for it. We have the coarser one, which is this one, and we have the finer one, which is this one. And I'd like to have it so that we can bump up one parameter, this one, to like 50, and then it starts from 50 up to 100. It starts to add the coarser damage. And as you can currently see, when we don't have any the plaster secondary edge wear set to 0 and we increase the plaster edge wear, nothing happens. This is because this parameter is dependent on this one, so it only makes something when this one is set to higher than 0. So let's quickly fix it. So as I said, we want to have this effect when the parameter is set from 0 to 50. And when it's at 50, we want to add this edge wear. So this is our setup. Let's make some space first. You can move all the nodes by pressing and holding Control and use your arrow buttons. So I think we will use the secondary edge wear parameter, as this is this one as a base. So what we first need to do, we need to set this from 0 to 1. So the effect is stronger, but actually we need to double this. And then we need to clamp it. Not this node, but clamp float. Minimum should be 0 and maximum should be 1. So now if we use it, it stops at 50. And at 50 we already get our full effect. Then we need a float is greater or equal. Float. Let's set it to 1. So this one will turn positive when we are over 50 here. We need a conditional select float node. And we'll input our parameter to true. And we'll leave the false value at 0. So as you can see, the conditional select float now starts to work at when we are at 50 and goes to 1. We need to remap it with a remap range float. It should start at 50. So what this does is when we go over 50. It will actually start at 0, not at 50, so we have the full range for our other effect. And as you can see, when we go below 50, we are at -1, so we need to clamp it. Like so. Let's see, this has to go. This is the first effect. This needs to go into this lerp float node. Can delete this. And it basically already works. But to adjust it a bit finer, we gonna input our parameter into the lerp float nodes, which are driving the slope blur nodes here. Delete this. So now we have it like we wanted. So from 0 to 50, we are only getting the first effect, and when we are over 50, the effect is finished and the other effect starts to appear. Let's clean this up a bit. Hi Christina, welcome. Nice to see you again. Yeah, I didn't know if I actually make it today, but I think it's some time for a short one. I think I finished at 11 or so, but yeah. Actually, I didn't expect anyone, as this is quite spontaneous. So really nice to see you. So we have this nice plaster, this nice, yeah, how do we call it? The underlying layer. And I'd like to have some edge damage where we can actually see it a bit, because this is just so that we don't go fully through. So I think what we can do here, let's take this one and use a grayscale to mask node. Let's keep it at default, 0.2. Let's use a flood fill on it. And flood fill to gradient. Let's set our angle variance to 1. Let's directional warp it by 2 directions. Let's set an angle of maybe 45 and let's use our Clouds 2 noise, which is here. Ah, okay, so you are working on Sunday? So it's even nicer to see you. Let's use a histogram edit on this. Let's set the contrast to 1. Let's see if we can change the seed to make it a bit nicer. I mean, we can change the seed, but actually when you use the material as templates or so, you can always change it and it will always be a bit different, but when I'm working I like to have it so that it looks nice for me personally. That sounds hard to work on Sunday. I mean, I have to go sleep soon as I have to go to work tomorrow as well, but so now we had this Voronoi pattern here. Let's reuse it. But let's use a safe transform on it. So we make the shapes smaller. Let's also set the scale to 0.5 to make it even smaller. Let's blend it here with a, let's see, maximum probably. And let's cut out the wood planks, so we blend it with the grayscale to mask with a multiply blend. Yeah, I think that's nice. I'd also prefer to have one day at least in the week, so you can go shopping, etc. Let's do an edge detection on this. Let's invert it and use the stroke. Then we can filter those small shapes out. I mean, there's probably a nicer way, but this is what I just came up with. So let's try this. We'll use a flood fill again and a flood fill filter. We set the mode to size. Let's use the flood fill to mask to see what we are doing. And this looks quite nice already. We could also filter out the bigger shapes if we wanted. I think that's actually what we're gonna do. distance node. With probably the edge detect. Then we can just subtract it from our main map here. So now we have some coarser edgeware where we can see through it. We can always adjust it with this histogram edit node here. Not sure if this is too realistic, but it looks quite nice, so I leave it. Let's make a parameter out of it. We'll use the master of the histogram edit node, and let's loop it to, don't know, 90 is quite nice, maybe 85 to 1. Now we need to invert it. So let's set the 085 as B and A to 1. And how is it going, Christina? Everything all right? So the thing now is that when we set the courseware to 0, we still have some of it. We can actually fix it by using a conditional select image node. We'd use our parameter and float equals float. We leave it at 0. So when we are at 0, we want to input this one. And when we are not at 0, we want to input this one. So the where is totally gone. Might be a bit harsh when we set it to 1, but I think it's okay. Great to hear that. Yeah, we are fine too, thanks. I think we could improve the courseware here, as it's a bit too much maybe and a bit unrealistic, so that we don't want to go it all through. So let's check which node it is. I think that's that. We just blend a noise in between. Let's see how that looks. Quite decent, I think. Maybe we could try another noise here. Spots probably not, but let's see how it looks. It doesn't really fit. I think the clouds noise was quite nice already, so let's reuse it. Thanks, appreciate it. Still don't know how it will look when it's finished. We had some cracks already. Maybe not the nicest, but for now it's okay. But we could start to add a bit more details on the plaster here. Let's try to use the grunge map I had here. Before the cracks. Let's use this as a mask, but let's put it through a grayscale to mask first, so we can mask out the edgeware a bit. Let's add some softness. Let's leave it at default for now, but decrease the opacity. Quite nice, I think, actually. Maybe we could warp the grunge a bit. Let's use the fractal sum actually. Don't know where I had it. It's this here. This adds a bit of grain to it. Not too much. Maybe decrease the opacity a bit. Maybe we could add this fractal sum to add some grain to the surface as well. Let's try it with the blend. Let's keep it at default as well and just a small value for the opacity, like 1 maybe. Maybe a bit more. Additionally, I could add the custom noise I'm using here. It's the find spots, but to find it first, let's just do a search. We could probably break it a bit with another noise, maybe with the spots even. Thanks, it's nice to have different opinions. The spots is not so nice here. Let's try to... let's blur it first and see how it looks. effect. Still a bit too much of the grain. Let's use another noise. Let's try the Clouds Heavy. So we want to achieve here is a bit of variation so that we don't have this pause everywhere, but just some places. Let's maybe reduce the blend opacity. And increase the grunge here. Also increase the fractal sum we used. We can delete this parameter as we don't need it anymore, and we can call this one plaster edge rammer. Okay, so still more work to do. Yeah, I will finish streaming in a few minutes as well, as I didn't want to stream as much today. Basically everything I wanted to do I already did here and a bit more. Yes, such surprises happen. I'd appreciate that. I mean, the stream wasn't too long. I think I wanted to start at, don't know, 22:50 or something, but I started at half, so it's just like 35 minutes. But I always have the feeling that the time really flies when you stream somehow. Yeah, I think it's actually enough for today. I think in the next stream I try to improve the mortar of the underlying layer, and I think we can then move to the color and roughness already. Oh, and this effect has to get better. So this will be something for the next stream, I think. It's not looking so nice. but that's quite cool. That's as well. Maybe we could add a peeling effect to this. Let's see where it is. I think we can use another grayscale to mask for it. Then let's invert. Let's blur it slightly, maybe by 5%. Then let's subtract that. Multiply. Then we need to multiply this with the initial map here. Actually, that's not working like expected. Oops. That works. Thanks, glad you like them, appreciate it. Let's actually take this here. Blur it a bit. Thanks, wishing you a great week too. Bye bye. I hope until next time, probably Saturday or Sunday. Bye bye, have a great night. So yeah, I think that's it for now, guys, and let's continue this next week. Hope you liked it and see you next time. Bye bye.